Hi guys, welcome to today's reading, and today we're going to be talking about your secret gifts and talents. So what are you secretly amazing at, secretly excel in? What area in your life do you secretly really succeed in? We're going to get into all of it, and today we have a beautiful selection of donuts for you guys to choose from. So pile number 1 is that bright pink donut, pile 2 is the yellow donut, pile 3 is the purple donut, and finally at the end, pile 4 is that kind of berry flavored looking donut. So if you're new to this channel, welcome. And basically I do pick a card readings, but often with food items instead of cards. And so you're gonna see which of these donuts is just sticking out to you, calling your energy towards it, calling your name, and just pulling you in. And then as soon as you've decided on which of these donuts is right for you, you can scroll down to the timestamps in the comments and the description and jump into your pile. That will be the pile with the message for you. And if you guys want to see more of my content, then you can head on over to my Patreon where I post all my additional readings. I just posted a reading all about what you're destined to have in this lifetime. And before that, I posted an early dating relationship reading. So someone you just started dating and you want clarity on that situation, that's a great reading to watch. And we also suggest new readings and you guys vote on them over on Patreon, so it's super interactive. So if you want to join us on Patreon and you want to take part in our little community, then head on over to the link underneath the timestamps in the comments and the description, and I would absolutely love to see you there. Also, if you would like to get a private one-on-one reading with me, you can also get that at my website briarrosetarot.com, and you can sign up for a hour-long reading or a half-hour reading. You can do pre-recorded or a live one-on-one session with me, and you can have me pull tarot for you, read your astrology, or just channel for you. You get to really decide how the reading goes and what we talk about. Of course, most things you can totally ask about within reason. So if you would like to get a reading with me, then go to my website briarrosetarot.com, and I would love to do a reading for you. And the link for that is in my description as well, by the way. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Now, if you need more time to decide, you can totally feel free to rewind, pause, and take as much time as you need. But we're going to go ahead and jump into pile 1. Hey pile 1, welcome to your reading. So leading off these cards, you guys got the 7 of Swords, the Magician, the World, and the Knight of Pentacles. So I'm hearing you guys may be excellent strategists, amazing at dealing with people and planning things. I feel like if you guys were to take a job as like some kind of a planner, like almost like you're great at coming up with an action plan, you know, like if someone's like, I want to build a business or I want to fix my relationship, you would be that person who would scheme and be able to come up with the perfect solution for them to do exactly that. And I feel like because you are intelligent, it's versatile, you know, it's not just limited to like, oh, you're great at dealing with relationship stuff or you're great at dealing with business stuff. It's like you can kind of do it all. You have a really great mind, a very sharp mind. You know, the 7 of Swords is a very highly intelligent, kind of crafty card, and can, you know, also be very good at hiding their true feelings. They're not someone who's going to wear their emotions on the surface and going to like let everyone know exactly what their plan is. And I feel like you guys are that type of person that you play a lot of things close to the vest. You're not going to share it. You're not going to like tell everyone your plans and tell them every single detail. You're the kind of person who's going to withhold a lot and be very purposeful and strategic about how you move. So you might do things that sometimes people might not even know, like, what is pile 1 up to? Why is pile 1 acting like that? Like, that's kind of crazy. Pile 1 is, you know, this is really crazy. This is unexpected from them. I wouldn't cut them out to be this kind of a person. But I feel like you kind of move in silence, and then again, you might surprise people with your success. So you might be the kind of person that goes completely quiet on Instagram or on social media for a while, and then after a bunch of months you make the announcement that like, hey, I got this promotion or I'm engaged, and someone's like, wait, you guys are dating? Like, I didn't even know you were in a relationship. But I feel like you're very good at reading other people's energy, and you're good at knowing when someone doesn't have your best interests at heart, or when someone is being shady to you, when someone is not really super well intentioned, I feel like you can kind of spot that from a mile away. You would be able to notice it, to call it out, to see it. And I feel like that is a tool that you're going to use throughout life. I am hearing pile one. Some of you guys tend to attract jealousy, haters. You might attract people who kind of have it out for you or are jealous of your light, because I do feel like you naturally attract attention with this world card. You're naturally a little bit of the center of attention vibes. And so I do feel like there's people who wish they kind of had your charisma. You're very good at dealing with people. Social situations and social dynamics are a big strength of yours. So you're probably fantastic at like charming a random stranger, getting the waiter to come over and be like, hey, you know what, I'm giving you a free dessert. It was really nice talking to you. Or, you know, talking to a customer service person and they were like, there's no way that can't happen. And then they're like, you know what, hold on, let me go try something. And people may be like, oh my God, how did you do that? Or even handling those tricky situations, handling situations where someone doesn't like you, but you kind of come out of it unscathed. And so I feel like there's something about you that's very resilient, pile one. You always are kind of landing on your feet. And we have the Magician card, which is ruled by Mercury. And so Mercury is a genius energy. Mercury is very good with words, really fantastic writers, communicators, great in social situations. Mercury obviously rules over Gemini and Virgo. Gemini is the relentlessly curious energy, always learning. They always have a million things going on. Mercury placements also tend to look younger. Geminis are kind of like the kid of the zodiac, and they're always like getting their, you know, getting into different situations, getting kind of in trouble because they're doing a million different things. It's also a mischievous energy. And then we have Virgo. Virgo is extremely precise. And so it's kind of different energies of Mercury. Virgo is a lot more of the like editor, the surgeon. They like to help. And so I feel like with you guys, either way, there is that genius and brilliance of Mercury. I'm telling you, it's so maddening to me. I would like to have Virgos and Geminis banned from publishing books, because it is so unfair. Every time you look up a writer's placements, they have Virgo and Gemini. And as much as I may like to read their books and they're really well written, it does make you kind of annoyed. Like, it's like, why are y'all so good at communication and writing? But you guys may have a gift for writing. Some of you guys may be really, really gifted in that realm, and you may have a book in you or have a future with publishing something. You could be good at communication in general. Communication is also like speaking. It's making YouTube videos where you educate people. Mercury is knowledge in general. So it's that pursuit of knowledge and also the sharing of knowledge through communication. So I feel like a lot of you guys are really, really gifted at anything that would involve communication, anything that would involve social skills, talking to people, and also writing. You also are probably a really great viewer of people. Like, you're the kind of person that, because you know, one of my pet peeves in books is when like it's a really unrealistic character and you're like, why would that person be acting that way? That makes no sense. Like, this is crazy. And I think some of the best writers and authors, they're just great studiers of people. Like, they understand how people tick. They understand how people are motivated, what people are motivated by, so they can write plausible plot lines that make sense. And I feel like that's you. You're kind of that person who would be in the corner, like studying everyone at a party, looking at them, watching them, seeing what they have going on, and you might store that information up inside of you. So yeah, I could see some of you guys being gifted in writing or any kind of communicative ability. Then we have the World card, which has all the fixed signs on this. So with the fixed signs, once they get their mind on something, once they, you know, make their mind up, it's like that is happening. There's no way. You cannot get in their way. You cannot stop them. You cannot impede them. They're just going to plow through and make it happen. And I do feel like with you guys, it's like there is a destiny about some of you guys achieving or accomplishing some goal. And like I said, it really taking people by surprise. Some people who have counted you out, about. Some people who have thought that you weren't going to accomplish anything, or who have thought that you were kind of not really a threat, are going to be really shocked when you finally make this thing happen. I feel like there's this energy where you love to prove people wrong. You kind of love when they actually discount you or think you can't do it. The World card is also ruled by Saturn, and so Saturn is all about achieving hardships and also getting their mind on something and then slowly working towards it. And sometimes people with heavy Saturn placements tend to face a lot of hardships earlier in life or earlier in a stage where they've set a goal, and that is part of the process. Overcoming that is part of the journey that allows them to actually accomplish that. So again, if some of you guys have felt like you faced a lot of obstacles, just know that that may be part of your journey. And I do feel like you have this commitment, this determination, and kind of like this stubbornness that you're going to need to accomplish whatever this is. That's also echoed in this Knight of Pentacles. The Knight of Pentacles is a card that, like I said, puts its mind on something and then makes it happen. It also can be a great manager of money. And I do feel like a lot of you guys are actually really good managers of money. And also you may have some kind of like focus or determination on like wanting to make a lot of money, and there's nothing wrong with that. Money is a reflection of energy. So when we want a lot of money or we have a lot of money, that is just showing that we've mastered energy and that people are willing to give us energy. And so, there's nothing wrong with that. And I feel like you guys, there may be a destiny for some of you guys with learning how to master money, learning how to prove yourself in that arena somehow, and being really good at it when it does come for you. Let's get into some more cards. Can you tell me about pile number one's hidden and secret gifts? Spirit, the Hierophant. So a lot of people see you as an authority. By the way, this is crazy. Look how many major arcana cards we have coming out. The Hierophant, the Magician, the World, the Wheel of Fortune. So many major arcanas. But yeah, there's a strong Sagittarius energy as well here, and Sagittarius is a very wise card as well, a wise energy. It's ruled by Jupiter. It has a lot of spiritual wisdom, and we have the Hierophant backing that up as well. So again, there's a lot of spiritual knowledge. There's kind of a gravity. I wouldn't be surprised if some of you guys in this pile did serious spiritual work in another lifetime, like you were like a shaman or some kind of spiritual figure in your community or in your tribe, wherever you lived in the world. All cultures had some kind of, medicine man or shaman or just tribal chief or someone who would basically commune with the other side and have a lot of knowledge and have a lot of authority. And I feel like you guys were definitely an authority figure, and you may carry that into this lifetime. It feels like you just know a lot. You're highly intuitive. You can probably read someone's energy across a room, or, even if you haven't met them face to face, you might be talking to someone online and you can just feel what they're going through in that moment. It feels like you guys are super intuitive and possibly quite psychic. And I do feel like you have a kind of natural gravitas. I'm almost getting some Aquarius energy. So I feel like people naturally see you as an authority figure. People naturally kind of gravitate towards you and want to learn from you. They respect you, and they kind of look up to you. They see you as someone who knows quite a lot, and you might find yourself naturally being placed in those roles. Like you're in a group and everyone is like deciding where they want to go to eat after, late night after everyone's been drinking. And then everyone just turns and looks at you and is like, what do you think? Let's let, pile one decide. And you're like, why me? Like, I don't care that much. I guess we can go get pizza. And you might find yourself in situations like that frequently, where people kind of defer to you, or you naturally fall into like a leadership position. You naturally are someone that people kind of look up to or gravitate towards, or you just, like I said, step into that leadership role. I think a lot of Aquarian placements find themselves in that position because it does rule over large groups, and it also has a certain charisma. There's a lot of genius to Aquarius, and so it also has a natural charisma, even though they're not the like, let me impress everyone with my singing and dancing the way Leo is, but it's still on that same axis. And people tend to look up to Aquarius, see Aquariuses as visionaries, like someone who just is always thinking of these crazy things and really connected to the outer realm because it's ruled by Uranus, an outer planet. So yeah, I think that you naturally are someone who attracts that kind of attention. Some of you guys may even have a success or a future potential in like politics or social justice or community organizing or something like that, organizing people like about causes, politics in general, elected officials, anything like that, because I feel like you're someone that people actually really listen to when you do speak, when you do voice things. You make a lot of amazing points, and so people really want to learn from you. They really do look up to you and see you as someone that they can kind of um, like could be a possible teacher for them. So let's get into some of these cards for pile number 1. What can you tell me about pile 1's gifts? Hidden gifts and talents. What is this? Lost in space, needing direction. But see, that's making me think of Uranus and all the outer planets. You know, that's why the outer planets, all of them have a potential as well for fame. So the outer, any sign ruled by an outer planet. So the outer planets start with like Capricorn ruled by Saturn. Then we have Aquarius ruled by Uranus, Pluto ruled by Scorpio, and Neptune, I don't know why I'm saying ruled by, it rules over Neptune ruling over Pisces. So anyway, all of those planets can be very tapped into the collective, and their job is literally, especially like the 3 outer planets, Pluto, Aquarius, and Neptune, Pisces, Aquarius, Scorpio, their job is to be very tuned into the energy of the collective. And so that's why Aquarius placements will often tend to adapt a trend or a style before it becomes a big thing. Or Aquarius is kind of like that genius inventor that just suddenly knows that they need to invent wireless waffle machine, or like a, you don't need to plug it into the wall waffle machine. And then everyone's like, why are you doing this? And then a year later, waffles become a massive trend because it was featured in a TV show or something. And then everyone wants to buy this like cordless waffle maker, and something that no one else saw coming, the Aquarius or is aware of it. And same with Pisces and Scorpio. They're all tuned in to these kind of waves that happen in the collective. And so I feel like, again, you guys are just reminding me of that outer planet energy of someone who really has a lot of vision, guidance, and wisdom that they just get collectively. They just kind of pick it up from the other. They just pick it up from the spiritual realm, and that's the truest download you can get. So yeah, I feel like because the outer planet placements, be it a Scorpio, Aquarius, a Pisces, and to a certain extent Capricorns, tend to get these waves from the collective. They tend to also be placed into authority figure roles because, after someone is seen like, wow, every time you were right about that, maybe they think that person, even if they have like a Pisces placement and they seem kind of spacey, sooner or later people will be like, yeah, they seem really spacey, but they've predicted like each of the last big events in our industry. So that's kind of weird. Maybe we should listen to them. They may not like it. They may not really want to admit that that's what's going on, but they can, feel the power. And I feel like that is something you guys have really strongly. It's like, you don't really talk that much, but when you do something, you move with the collective and you're very ahead of the crowd, very ahead of trends, and you can kind of see energy coming a long way away. Some of you guys might genuinely have some psychic placements, and Capricorns get put into authority figures as well just because they have that Capricorn gravitas, that heaviness, that strength of Capricorn. Let's get into some more cards for pile number 1. What are their hidden gifts and talents? What are their hidden gifts and talents? Just love the sound of the cards. Perfect storm, the courage to step into life. Okay. Let's see what other card we're going to get. What kind of hidden gifts and talents does pile 1 have? Okay, so that's 2. Netcaster, preparations come to fruition, and Magician's Sword, confidence in your magic. So again, I feel like you guys have a lot of options of things you want to do, things you could do, possibilities for you in your life. it's like the sky is the limit with you. You're not just limited to one field or one little particular area of talent. It's like you are capable of succeeding in multiple fields, because what it comes down to, again, is this vision that I feel like you guys have. And also, I do feel like you guys are hard workers. I feel like once you put your mind on something, you're kind of relentless. You won't give up. You won't say no. You won't back down. You will continue pushing yourself and moving forward no matter what happens. And so I feel like, yeah, that is a major gift and talent just in and of itself, because it's almost like you can direct it at will towards multiple arenas. Let's get into this deck though and see what gifts pile one has. And that Netcaster card, by the way, always reminds me of Aquarius, the water bearer. And it is about preparing. And again, I feel like you guys are great planners. I feel like you would be that great person who could direct someone or plan a trip for them, like a travel agent, or help them, you know, put together a business plan. You're just a great planner in general. You're great at like organizing people, organizing groups, and starting to make things happen, you know, putting that in your minds and then just figuring out how to implement it and how to go about it. Yeah, I think it's like you're going to be able to use that in a lot of different fields. I'm hearing you guys are great advertisers as well. You would be great working in the field of advertising, because you're great knowing and understanding what the consumer would need, what people would respond to. And you also are great at making things eye-catching or noteworthy, or making up a cute slogan. Like, you're great with your words and you're great with the optics of things, you know? Knowing how things should look, knowing how things should, you know, the vibe something should give off, what people will respond to. And as I'm reading this or saying this, I'm looking at this fifth chakra Archangel Gabriel card, and that is the angel that helps us with speaking, literally rules over the crown chakra again. The crown chakra, sorry, the throat chakra. You can really tell Mercury and like basically everything is retrograde, right? Because I'm having so much trouble speaking today. But the throat chakra is all about communication. Speaking of speaking, and it does rule how we communicate to others, how we get our point across. And again, I feel like that's something you guys have such a gift for. And what I think it comes down to when you're a really great communicator is really being able to empathize with others, put yourself in others' shoes, understand what they're coming from, what they'll respond to, what they're gonna think, how they're gonna receive the words you say. And again, I feel like that's what you're really great at. You're really great at psychology and getting into people's heads, understanding how they're going to think, what they're going to respond to, what their reaction will be, whether they'll be offended or delighted. You're really, really good at that. Okay, I want to get into some astro dice for pile number one. What other hidden gifts and talents? We got Pisces, the first house, Aries, and then we also have Uranus. So those are two of the signs I have been talking about this whole time. So Pisces, Aquarius, and Aries. So with Pisces, I've been talking about that, but Pisces is highly psychic, very intuitive, and is a sign that is a visionary, very much ahead of its time, very much into the energy of feeling the collective, knowing what's going on, knowing what kind of everyone is thinking, being able to tune into the energies around them. Pisces is also highly creative, loves to create, but not in a self-serving, I want to be the center of attention way, more like I want to serve the collective. And again, I feel like that comes through with you guys, because I don't feel like you guys necessarily want to be the center of attention, but you naturally may be the center of attention because of your creative gifts, talents, and just this natural charisma that you give off. Pisces is also a very charismatic sign. It's a very dreamy sign. A lot of people project on Pisces. Pisces is a very attractive sign as well, because it kind of has this Neptunian, dreamy, otherworldly quality. So again, I feel like you're naturally charismatic and people are naturally drawn to you, also with Aquarius as well. Aquarius is an excellent placement for like a community organizer, a politician, because it literally rules over the 11th house of large groups. It serves the collective, and it's a very genius scientific sign. They love to learn. They have an incredible, super sharp mind. Some astrologers think that Mercury should be exalted in Aquarius because it does have that incredibly quick, sharp way of looking at things. And so, again, you're talking about an outer planet that is very tuned into the energy of the collective. It's very tuned into the energy of what someone may be doing totally across the world. And also, Aquarius loves things that are super new and different and unexpected. So, Aquarius isn't going to be turned off because, like, oh, but no one does it that way, or I haven't seen that, or that's from another country. It's kind of weird. Aquarius is never going to react that way. They're going to welcome in the new and the unexpected. And that's what really allows them to stay so ahead of the crowd. Then we have Aries, the house of the self. And I do feel like there's something very hard driving, ambitious, and strong about you. Like I said, I think you guys are very resilient. You can kind of take a bunch of hits and keep going. You know, you're not going to be easily dissuaded or let someone like run you out of town or scare you or make you easily, you know, get called defeat or whatever. You're going to keep going. You're going to keep pushing yourself. And that's why I really think that some success is really inevitable for you, Pile One, especially as long as you push yourself and continue, you know, on whatever path this is, trying to accomplish whatever this is. I feel like Pile One, with you, you have such a strong power of will that getting this thing done, whatever it may be, it's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of how long is it going to take. It's not a question of if, it's a matter of when. Because I feel like once you put your mind on something, you go full force ahead of it in that Aries, Mars, determined type way. So yeah, what's coming to mind as your gifts is one, that kind of self-reliance, um, what is the word? Like, just it's completely escaping my mind. I think Mercury is super in retrograde, but that kind of never say die attitude. I'm never going to give up. I'm going to put my mind on it. I'm going to make it happen. Determination. That is a huge gift that a lot of people wish they had. I think they say the number one predictor of success is grit, and that's a perfect word for what you guys have. You have this grit and this determination, and so I think you're going to succeed at a lot of fields, but you also have an incredible grasp of psychology, of what people want to see en masse. You're really great at getting inside people's heads. That is also why you're great at charisma. You have a really great gift for speaking or for making advertisements or for really understanding what people will respond to. So you would be great at creating any kind of mass media, and especially writing, because I do feel like a lot of you guys have an excellent grasp of words. You have a really strong Mercury energy in you, and you're the kind of person that naturally people are drawn to. Naturally people find you charismatic. You may not be the loudest in the room, but you're going to be that person that people probably respect the most in the room. So yeah, I really hope that resonates, Pile One. If you want to check out more of my videos, I have other videos about your hidden gifts. And if you want to see even more of my stuff, head to my Patreon. I just posted a reading all about what is destined for you in this lifetime. And before that, a love reading all about an early relationship, early dating phase. So someone you just started seeing. But as soon as you sign up for Patreon, you'll get access to over 60 additional readings. I think we're around 65 now. And there's so many topics to choose from. You guys also suggest and we vote on new ones. So if you would like to join us over on Patreon, I would absolutely love to have you. And if you guys would like to get a private one-on-one reading with me, you can get that at my website, briarrosetarot.com. You can sign up for a half hour or a full hour long session with me, have me pull tarot for you, read your astrology, channel for you. So you get to really use your time to ask me within reason, whatever you would like. But anyways, thanks so much for watching, guys. Oh, and by the way, the link for a reading with me is in my description, of course, for briarrosetarot.com. But thanks for watching, guys. I'm sending you so much love and light, and I'll be back again very soon with another reading. So take care, guys. Bye. Hey, Pile 2, welcome to your reading. So for your tarot, you guys got the Eight of Pentacles, the Knight of Wands, the Six of Wands, and the Three of Cups. So I'm hearing right off the bat that you guys are amazing creators. And by creators, I mean literally creating like objects or little knickknacks, small things. Some of you guys might have a prominent Mercury and be really good at working with your hands on little complicated objects like making jewelry or even things like embroidery or needlework, anything that you're actually building. I feel like you guys are incredible at that, actually like tinkering with, working with, like anything that requires tools and stuff. I feel like you would be great at. I also feel like some of you guys are amazing cooks and you're great at creating stuff like that. So creating a meal, knowing what flavors work with each other. But I feel like most of all, you guys are someone who's highly creative. We have the Knight of Wands coming out next to the Six of Wands. So you seem like one of those people who always has a million ideas running around in their head. Always, you might have a lot of natural energy or be someone who is always going to say yes, is like, sure, why not? Let's do it. Let's go. I feel like a lot of you guys may also be the life of the party. So you might be someone who's really good in social situations and be quite charming. You might be someone that if someone invites you out to have a drink or meet some new people, you would just have everyone laughing. You would have everyone charmed. I'm hearing a lot of you guys in this pile have a really incredible sense of humor. But I also just feel like you really enjoy some alone time where you're spending time like immersed in some kind of creative work. And I mean literally working with your hands, because I keep seeing someone's hands like, I don't know, putting together some jewelry or doing something that's kind of small with like a little set of tweezers, and they're like putting things in place, like glue gunning like sequins to something or crystals to something. Like, I feel like you have that kind of precision and you're really good at those kinds of projects. A lot of you guys have a really beautiful aesthetic. You might have a natural sense of taste and be able to envision, you know, a beautiful new fashion outfit or a beautiful like idea for some kind of a product or some kind of, yeah, home good or fashion style or anything. I feel like you're really good at like colors and matching things together. And then I feel like you really have that practical ability to sit down and actually work at it and actually like tinker away and make it happen. But I do feel like you guys really are the life of the party, and they're bringing that up again as so many people being charmed by you, so many people really enjoying and liking your presence, and that your laugh is really infectious. So I feel like secretly deep down, you are really talented at all those kinds of social situations, social dynamics, and really people can't get enough of you with that. It's like, I think so many people actually leave parties, social interactions with you completely charmed. Like, you might be shocked to know that someone that you just interacted with quickly in a store or at a restaurant and you just were like, oh, hi, oh, thanks, blah, 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 and said bye, that they're still thinking of you 6 hours later or a day later or a week later because they're like, wow, pile number 2 was so charming. I also feel like a lot of you guys might be naturally attractive, or maybe you just have so much charisma that it's making a lot of people think of you as attractive. But I do feel like a lot of you guys in this pile are literally physically attractive, and you naturally might be someone who attracts attention and gets people to look at you. They might just turn and stare at you. You might have something quite luminous about you that just seems to draw people in. I also feel like with the Six of Wands, like I said, you make the party fun. If it's like a dry event, if people are just kind of standing around and not really having that much fun, you would enter in and it's like, oh, the party's here, the party's arrived, like now everyone can have fun. And I feel like you're great at like talking to new people. Like, you're great at making people feel at ease and relaxed. Maybe they were anxious or nervous before, but after they talk to you, they're like, oh, you know what, I am having fun. This party is kind of cool. Yeah, I don't know anyone, but you know what, this is actually a good time. And I feel like you have that infectious like zest for life. To me, you're giving me really fun vibes. Like, you're the kind of person too where if you were someone's friends and they were like, oh, I want to hang out, or I've been kind of depressed, you might be the kind of person who suggests something totally crazy, like, is like, you know what, put on this blindfold, I'm taking you somewhere, and then taking them, I don't know, bungee jumping. That might be a little, I don't know, too much for them, but you might take them, you know, drive them for across 2 state lines to go to the state fair and buy them like the world's biggest corn dog, or like I feel like you would have some crazy zany little adventure that would make it fun. Or even if you're just going to the mall, you'd find a way to make it a good time. You'd find a way to make it like a fun excursion and to have this person laughing and to like take their mind off it. There's just something so much fun and infectious about your energy. And I feel like people, really the people who get to be friends with you, they do feel like it's a little bit of a privilege. You might also be really good at naturally attracting attention with that Six of Wands. So for some of you guys, you might have a history or a future potential on social media or something like that. Anything that attracts attention, even acting or presenting or social media of any kind, making vlogs or whatever, because I feel like you're someone that people are just naturally interested in. But the cooking is coming up again. A lot of you guys are really good cooks, or even you could be like a mixologist or something. You could be someone who could literally make the most amazing cocktails ever. I feel like you're just that great creator when it comes to food and when it comes to like physical objects. You know how to make really beautiful like pieces of jewelry or cupcakes or whatever you're dealing with. You know how to make it really beautiful. Let's get into some more cards for pile number 2. What are pile 2's hidden gifts and talents, Spirit? What are pile 2's hidden gifts and talents? Okay, we got the 10 of Swords and ooh, we have the 3 of Swords and the 10 of Swords, some heavy energy. Let's see what else. Clarify these cards, Spirit. I am getting the vibe that for some of you guys with the 10 and the 3 of Swords, you might be someone who, if you have gone through heartbreak, you find a way to really make it poetic and beautiful in its way. So whereas someone else might just be moping around inside, you might be someone, because again, I think you guys are highly creative, who gets inspired to actually produce more when you're feeling heartbroken. So maybe you're like, you know what, I want to write a song, or I am going to write out a movie, or I am going to start knitting and embroidering all the time. But I feel like you really lean into, in a way, some of your heartbreak doesn't actually hold you back. It like actually fuels your creativity in a deeper way. Kind of like a lot of, famous artists' favorite, like their best music, their biggest songs, maybe songs they wrote in an energy of heartbreak. Of course, I'm talking about Taylor Swift. Try not to mention her name because all of you guys are like, why did you mention her? I'm like, I don't know why she comes up in so many readings. But a lot of big musicians are like that. Like I think The Weeknd, a lot of his biggest hits, or Drake. I mean, there's a lot of like Cancer energy here, and Scorpio with The Weeknd. But water signs are really good at that, taking the pain and transmuting it into creativity. There's no coincidence that water rules over emotions and it rules over creative gifts and that kind of dreamy realm. So it is really one and the same. And so I feel like some of you guys, you really get fueled by the pain, the heartbreak you go through. And again, I feel like you're that person who really could create like a beautiful fantasy realm. Like if you were to write a book, you wouldn't just write a regular run-of-the-mill book. You'd probably write something that has like this whole world behind it, like build this whole world up and make it into this incredible dynamic story with like all these characters and like a lot of backstory. You know how like with Harry Potter, J.K. Rowling came out with all the additional books that were like encyclopedias and stuff explaining about all these different characters. To me, I was like, this is crazy, because I just can't believe she put so much effort into it. I couldn't believe that she had thought out like, that like potted plants that would dot the common rooms of like Hufflepuff, and that were a curse from an old ancient king. Of course, I'm making stuff up because I didn't actually read those encyclopedias or anything, but that's what I thought. I was just like, oh my God, like, wow, I can't even imagine having that much in your mind. And she has a lot of strong Virgo and Mercurial placements. Of course, they always do, but all the big writers do. But she like the fact that she had come up with that detail, and that's such a Virgo thing. Virgo's so detail oriented. I was just like, wow, like that's insane. I guess that's why she's such a big writer, that she has all that stored within her mind. You know, it wasn't just like, oh yeah, well, they're out of school and yeah, they're fighting. It's like there's so much history and like Latin words that she uses to come up with the names. You know what I mean? And like then you research that Latin word and it turns out to be something that is genuinely like an old English term of dragons. And so I feel like, you know, a lot of people who really creates kind of like cult classic or like things that have a huge fandom, you know, like movies that have a huge fandom or TV shows or books or whatever, they always seem to have this passion for it and they've thought through so much of it and there's so many layers that they can kind of access. And I feel like you have that ability as well, Pile 2. Like you guys really don't just look at things on a surface level. Like you bring that enthusiasm that I feel like you have so strongly into everything. You know, you're not just the person who's like, hey, let's go to the county fair and let's get corn dogs, but you're like that person who, if you're going to create something, is like, hey, why not, why don't we throw in a free gift, or why don't we add this character, why not have this, you know, like I feel like you're willing to go above and beyond. One thing about you too is you're not afraid of hard work. It's very telling that your first card that you got is the 8 of Pentacles. So I feel like when the going gets tough, you get going. You're not afraid to push yourself, to work a little bit hard, maybe to sweat. You're very determined. And again, I feel like a lot of you guys in this pile actually have natural energy. You might have some strong Leo placements or a very well aspected sun or strongly placed sun, but I feel like there's something about you that you're just, it takes a lot to burn you out or to, you know, sap up all your energy. You're someone who is like, let's go, let's keep going, like I'm just going to push myself. And so I think in that way, this kind of attitude of adventure that you have, curiosity that you have, and not being easily dissuaded or not being lazy, I think is a lot of, you know, very much plays into these gifts. Let's get into some of these cards for pile number 2. Spirit, what can you tell me about pile 2 and their gifts and talents? What are pile 2's gifts and talents? Eye of the Needle, intentionality. And it's so funny that we got Eye of the Needle because I was literally seeing someone like I've been saying, embroidering, doing needlepoint, working with a needle, sewing something, like using someone using their hands so strongly and amazingly and making something that you can really, like I said, hold with your hands and you can touch. And it's not just kind of like in the thought realm, it's actually existing in the physical realm. And I feel like you're really, really good at those physical things. So maybe like clothing items or garments or anything that you can really touch with your hands. I feel like a lot of you guys are just straight up good with your hands. Like you could, if someone asked you to like untie a knot, you could probably do that really easily. Or you know how like back in the day, back in the like Renaissance and stuff, when they would make those sculptures, they would have so much detail on it. Like it might look like a woman with a veil over her face, but you can still see all the lines of her actual features. And it's awe-inspiring to see that level of detail because they were just so precise, the sculptors back then. I feel like you have that ability. Maybe not to that extent. I know that's a little crazy, but I feel like you're really, really good with your hands. You're good at tinkering with things. You're good at fixing things. If you really put your mind to it, you might be that kind of person who could learn how to like fix a car and learn all the parts of the engine and just be really, really kind of handy with tools. Again, a very strong Mercury is very indicative of this kind of motor skill strength. So some of you guys might have a prominent Mercury in your chart. So like Gemini, Virgo placements, or a very strongly aspected or prominent Mercury, like Mercury in the first house or Mercury conjunct the sun or aspecting the sun. Lots of different placements like that can come into play and really help here. Let's get into some more cards for pile number 2. What are their hidden gifts and talents? So we got the root girl, the disowned self, mindful group think. So I'm feeling like some of you guys, it's almost like you might have felt very overlooked at different times in your life. And the funny thing is it didn't make you into a mean or a cruel person. It didn't make you into someone who's like jaded or mean. I actually feel like you guys are so compassionate, and you would be that person who would like notice if someone was being left out of a group project, or someone was feeling ostracized, or wasn't being really included at a party, or was looking left out, standing in the corner. I feel like there have been times when you've really felt kind of neglected and left behind. And if anything, I think that made you into a real free thinker who really marches to the beat of their own drum and doesn't follow the crowd like most people do. And I actually think that's a huge strength and gift you have, is you're kind of able to step outside those group dynamics and not just go along with what everyone else wants. And you really become a leader because of that. You become someone who isn't going to allow anyone else to tell you what to do and really pursues your own bliss. Some of you guys might be working in unconventional fields or having jobs that, maybe aren't super traditional, like a 9 to 5 or whatever, or what other people expected of you. But again, I actually feel like a lot of that is a really good thing. And you feel like, to me, someone who really values, serving out your life purpose and being authentic to yourself over getting money or approval from others, which again, I think is a really rare characteristic. And I think in that way, actually, a lot of people are really fascinated and interested in you. So kind of not even though this may be counterintuitive, you guys end up getting a lot of attention and kind of getting some clout off the basis of the way you're willing to stand alone and the way you're willing to just do things by yourself and follow your bliss. I feel like a lot of you guys in this pile, you really have an energy about you that's super joyous and joyful. So I feel like as long as you in pile 2 are pursuing your joy and doing things that bring a smile to your face, doing things that, truly make you happy and make you feel good in the moment, it's so important for you, pile number 2, to share your joy, because I feel like there's something so infectious about it. There's something about you, like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if some of you guys have a really prominent sun. And, I think when someone has a really prominent sun, they have a literal obligation to share themselves with the world. Sometimes people think Leos are really, selfish, self-centered, and egocentric because they tend to be happy to be front and center. So they're like, sure, I'll lead the presentation, or I'll present it in front of the class, or I'm going to go out for the lead in this role, and sometimes people get really irritated with that, and they're like, well, who are you to try to be the, star of this show? Or why do you think you get center stage? And of course, sometimes it can be, there's low vibrational energies for each sign, and low vibrational Leo can be that person that's just super self-centered. But honestly, the goal and the spiritual mission of Leos has to do with shining their light. In the same way that the sun has to wake up every morning and share its sun rays with the world, and that's literally the source of energy for the whole planet. That's the same way I think sun dominant people, they have to share their light with the world. They have to share their optimism, their excitement, their can-do attitude, their charisma with the world, because honestly, people become infected by that in a really good way. It's an infectious energy that rubs off on people. So if someone's having a really hard day, or they've been through a rough moment, or they're feeling really dejected and down in the dumps, they can see that positivity from a Leo and be inspired by it. That's why also Leo rules over public presentations like acting or singing or anything like that, is because they have these real gifts for doing those things. And people get so much joy out of watching a musical or watching a movie or a TV show or a singer on stage. So as much as people may say, oh, well, you are an egomaniac because you want to be a singer, I mean, think of how many people get ecstatic joy after going to a concert, or they feel so happy because they got to see a singer sing live and in person, So as much as people may put that down, I feel like pile number 2, it's really important for you in this pile to be willing to shine your light really bright and to do things that make you happy and maybe document it. I could even see some of you guys having like a social media account where you document just things that make you happy, like some of those accounts that are about like, I'm redecorating my house, and it's someone doing it in a really joyful, authentic way, really picking out those color swatches that are going to make them smile, or those design styles that feel super personal for them and bring them so much joy. I feel like that is kind of what's coming to mind. Or even those social media accounts where someone just goes around trying food and stuff. People may think that's kind of stupid, or older people may be like, oh my God, what is the point of this? Like, this is so dumb. But I think a lot of people who may be having a rough day, like maybe they can go to an account like that and it just brings them joy and makes them feel happiness kind of through osmosis, you know? So I feel that, yeah, don't shy away from your joy pile too, because it is so infectious and people just have it rub off on them. It's like there's something about you that's very, very magical. So let's also get some cards from this deck for pile number 2. What is pile 2's special gifts, hidden talents? So we got door to value, door to personal healing and happiness. Oh my God. Wow. Can't make it up. This sun card, I'm telling you, you have a strong, sunny, bright energy about you. And I just feel like it's really special. It's really powerful. And it comes through so strongly, pile number 2. Let's get another card. This one says the thinking woman. So again, I think a lot of you guys, you know, you may have gone through and been facing a lot of stuff. Some of you guys might have had a lot of really difficult experiences in life and, you know, been through some pain. And it feels like you have come through on the other side just being so positive and just being someone who really expects the best. And I feel like that energy is what inspires other people, that they can get through their hardships and their traumas too, and that it's not insurmountable, that they are actually capable and powerful to overcome whatever is thrown at them. Also with the thinking woman, again, I feel like you guys, when you do create stuff, you create it so vividly. It's so fleshed out. It's not just a one-dimensional look at things. It's not just like, yeah, okay, so I'm gonna write a kissing scene. So they kissed and that's it. And yeah, it's like you would describe, I don't know, the, you know, birds chirping in the background and the type of restaurant they're in when they finally kiss, and the emotion of her being like, is he gonna kiss me? And then the emotion of him being like, should I kiss her? I'm so nervous. And you'd include all those details. Again, I feel like you really think things through, pile number 2, and you guys have a gift for creating artwork and work in general that's just so detail oriented. Let's also get some astrology dice for pile number 2. So we got Saturn, we got Aquarius, and we got the 4th house, aka Cancer. So we have Cancer, Capricorn, and Aquarius. So Saturn is the ancient ruler of Aquarius too, but as it relates to Capricorn, Saturn is definitely a planet of hardship and suffering and hard lessons. But again, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I think sometimes people who have gone through the most can come out to be the most positive people that inspire people more than anyone else possibly could. So Capricorn energy can sometimes be that person that has like been through hell and has kept going and can inspire everyone that they don't need to, you know, they don't need to be scared, they don't need to hold themselves back, and they don't need to be beaten down permanently, that they can kind of get back up and keep going and things are going to work out. That kind of optimistic energy. And it's really inspiring because in a way, sometimes that hardship, that suffering gives someone more empathy, more compassion, and actually gives them more power because they're able to relate. It's kind of like how someone might be trying to market a product, but they've never, maybe it's like a low-cost soup, like they're trying to market a soup for 69 cents a can. I did not pick that number on purpose. Oh my God. 79 cents a can. Let's keep it at that. And they may, I told you guys at the beginning of this reading, I feel like you guys have a really funny sense of humor. So taking it as more of that humor energy, because that was totally unintentional. You guys may So they may be trying to market this can for 79 cents, and they may have, but if they were born rich, were never broke, never had to decide on what soup they were going to buy based on what was cheapest, they might have a hard time with that, right? Versus someone who has been broke, has been through it, and it gives them empathy for like, okay, if when I was in that situation and I had to decide which can to pick, I would have picked it based on this. And it helps them to do a better job. It helps them to market the product better. It helps them to relate and make ad copy and advertisements better. So yeah, I feel like that, this suffering sometimes really helps you tune into the energy of this collective. And Aquarius is the 11th house of other people. So with Aquarius energy, you're very able to get along with all different kinds of people, understand how different people work, really tune into all different kinds of energy, be around people that may be super different from you. And with the 4th house, Cancer, you're able to offer a lot of them empathy, compassion, grace, love. 4th house Cancer is definitely a nurturing energy, and it's also an incredible cook. So as I was saying at the beginning of this reading, I feel like a lot of you guys have a huge talent for cooking and for making things. But I am hearing from Spirit, if some of you guys are sometimes feeling a little discouraged about something you've been working on, or it's not getting the play that you wanted, or whatever the case may be, that there's something so special and important about you sharing your gift with the world and sharing your energy in the world in whatever way. It's not saying you have to like put your face on camera and, like open a YouTube account if you don't like, of course not. But maybe it's opening an Etsy shop and sharing, a product you wanted, or maybe it's writing something, or maybe it's just speaking openly with your friends about things you've been through and about the trials and tribulations you've faced, and being really open to the people in your life. But either way, I feel like pile 2, you really are supposed to share your energy with the world, and that might lead you to a lot of success. You guys did get the door to value card, so you may be destined to have some kind of a success in some way in life that being authentic and sharing this with the world really might bring about. So anyways, I think that's what I have for you guys. Pile 2, I really hope it resonated. If you want to see more of my videos about talent, I have some more on this channel as well as on my Patreon. And if you want to see more of my stuff, that's where you can find it. I have over 65 additional videos on Patreon. I just posted one all about what you're destined to have in this lifetime. And before that, I posted one that is an early relationship, early love reading. So it's perfect for someone you just started dating and you want to know how they're feeling. But as soon as you sign up, you'll get access to all my readings. So like I said, around 65 additional readings, and new ones go up all the time. You guys suggest and vote on all the new ones, so you get to really decide what we talk about over there. If you want to join us and sign up for Patreon, go to the link underneath the timestamps in the comments and the description, and I would love to see you there. Also, if you guys want to get a private one-on-one reading with me, you can get that at my website, briarrosetarot.com, and you can get a half hour or a full hour-long session with me, have me pull tarot for you, read your astrology, channel for you, and you can ask me most things within reason. So it's your time. You get to really choose it, choose how you spend it or what we ask about. But anyways, guys, thank you so much. Oh, and the link for a private reading with me is in my description, briarrosetarot.com. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I am sending you so much love and light, and I'll be back again very soon with another reading. Take care, guys. Bye. Hey, pile 3, welcome to your reading. So for your tarot, you guys got the Devil, the Queen of Wands, the 4 of Cups, and the 3 of Wands. So with the Devil coming out next to the Queen of Wands, a lot of you in this pile might have some natural charisma about you. You might have something that just really seems to draw people in, even though they may try to stay away from it. So you might have kind of a quiet, seductive quality to you, or the way you speak is very seductive. With the Queen of Wands, you might effortlessly attract attention or be really good at even just getting people to do things for you. So if you're trying to like convince someone to buy something, or if you're in a sales situation and you're really hoping that they, spend a little bit more money, you might be that person who's great at talking them into doing that. I'm also feeling like some of you guys might be great private investigators. You might be great at finding out hidden information that people kind of don't want to get out, secrets and things that they really don't want others to know about. You might be that person who's really capable of digging deep, getting information out of others. First of all, having people open up and actually tell you things. You might find people sometimes trauma dump on you or just tell you stuff and you're like, oh, okay, I didn't even need to know that. But also you might be really good at like actually doing research, looking up if someone's like, oh, by the way, I'm thinking of dating this guy, but I don't know, like I don't know where he works, and I'm just kind of curious. You might be like, okay, give me 5 minutes, and you're able to find like his workplace, his hometown, his phone number, all his siblings' information. Like, I feel like you are just great at investigating things, finding things out. Even when it comes to information, not about people, but just about like situations or other, other goods. Like, if someone's like, I'm kind of researching this company, I'm thinking about investing in it, you might be like, oh, I already researched it and I found out they had all this secret stuff, and, blah, 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 they're connected to this company, and the owner of the company used to own this company and they're really shady, so don't invest. Or, someone who's like, knows just a lot of information about a lot of different things, or has a lot of hidden knowledge. You might have that mind like a steel trap where you just remember a lot of information. The Devil card is ruled by Capricorn, and Capricorn is that energy that is going to kind of like hold your feet to the fire a little bit. Capricorn is not going to pretend everything is sunshine and rainbows, and that, everyone's just getting along and it's all good, no big deal, don't worry about it. Like, Capricorn will let you know if something you're doing is shady, or if it's, Capricorn is kind of that energy that you might have been able to BS your way with everyone else, but when Capricorn or Saturn comes in, you are not going to be able to pull the wool over their eyes. So I feel like a lot of you guys really see through a lot of different situations, and you have an excellent mind for probing really deeply and understanding things, not just on a surface level, but on a really deep level. So yeah, I feel like a lot of you guys too, you might be really patient. There might be something about you where if it's going to take a while, or if someone else might be dissuaded, like maybe they're like, oh, this is taking forever. You know what? Screw it. I don't even care. And let's just move on. And you be that person who's like, I don't mind waiting. No, like, I'm good. I'm just going to keep pursuing this. I'm not going to be thrown off path. Like, that's what I want. I'm going for it. And I don't care how long it takes. But yeah, I feel like a lot of you guys, it's like, once you have made up your mind with something, you're very focused, you're very determined. It takes a lot to really dissuade you or to take you away from it. You might also have excellent self-regulation, literally being able to regulate your emotions really well. I find Capricorns are really good at that. And you might also be good at doing other things that involve discipline. So like waking up early at a certain time to work out every day, or eating really healthy. With the Devil, it can definitely talk about overindulgences, but in the context of this reading, which are what are your gifts, I do feel like for a lot of you guys, it might be that you're the kind of person that, has an eye for that. So like, you can see maybe when you're being overindulgent, or you can see when you're kind of doing things that you shouldn't, and you need to back off, and you need to, like, eat a little healthier because you've been eating desserts every single night this week. I feel like you kind of like have an awareness of that other people might not be as aware of their tendencies to like go off track. With the Three of Wands, you might be very comfortable in all different kinds of situations. So you might be very literally brave, someone that it takes a lot to phase you when everyone else is kind of panicking or being like, oh, the situation seems sketchy, or I'm scared, like it's really late at night and we're having to walk through this city. You might be that person who is just naturally brave and does well under stress and like kind of stays calm. And you also might be someone who like prepares well in advance. So you're like, don't worry, I got the pepper spray, or I have the mace, or whatever. So it's okay. Like, don't be scared. I'll take care of us. I got this taken care of. Either way, I feel like, there's something very capable about you, and people, I feel like, really feel safe in your presence, pile 3. They kind of know they can like trust you and rely on you to a certain extent. Let's get into some more cards for pile number 3. What are pile 3's hidden gifts and talents? So we got the Ace of Cups, and we also got the Magician. Let's see. Okay, and we got the 8 of Wands and the 8 of Cups. So with the 8s, you guys probably know when to leave a certain situation behind. You know when a situation isn't serving you. You know when it's not really working. You know when it's time to leave it, and when it's time to keep going. I feel like you guys have a lot of moderation. Like I said, I feel like you're the kind of person who will stick something out. You're not easily dissuaded, but you're probably the kind of person that when it comes to the end of the road, or when it's really the situation is over, maybe that's what allows you to have such closure, where you're like, I gave it my all, let's go, I'm done. You know, I gave it every shot I had and it didn't work out, so, and you move on without any regret. You're not the kind of person who's going to like really stew and live on the past and, you know, have all these crazy thoughts of like what could have been or what should have happened. I feel like you're very diligent about moving forward with life and listening to your intuition about when a situation needs to end. And then I feel like, because also a lot of you guys in this pile, you're so loyal, you're such a giver, and you're honestly someone that I feel like so many people would really be lucky to have on their team, or in their working in their company or whatever, because I feel like you're the kind of person who's, one, really smart, and two, really gives their all for whatever the project is. If it's a group project, if it's a you know, product you're trying to launch, whatever the case may be, you are going to be that person who's going to go above and beyond and really do everything you can to make sure that that situation works out, that the company is doing well. You might be that person who would be willing to stay late, or if you're like, no, I'm going to leave on time, like your work that you do is really excellent. And I feel like sometimes you get underappreciated by like your bosses or by your coworkers. But again, I feel like there's something about you that you do a great job. And someone like you is very rare, because of your efficiency and because of your intelligence. You kind of just cut through the BS. Sometimes people might actually be triggered by this. They might find you to be someone who, you know, they get offended, like, I can't believe you would say that. Or, well, you know, I worked really hard on that project, so that's not really nice of you to say that. But I feel like it's very hard for you to kind of come in with BS and like lie to someone and like, you know, pretend that everything is great when it's not. There's something very decisive about you, and there's also something that's very committed to excellence. And if you're going to do something, you're not going to do it halfway. You're going to do it all the way. You're going to make sure it's really, really good. So sometimes I feel like coworkers or even bosses might be competitive with you. It might get under their skin. They might feel kind of unworthy or less than in comparison to you, because I feel like you do have that vibe of someone that is very excellent. I also feel like you might be someone who's neat, or even like people might, I'm hearing prim and proper in my mind. I'm not saying that's the word I would use, but people might call you that. And again, it may be out of jealousy, or it may be out of this energy of like, oh, look, little Miss Perfect. Everything she does has to be perfect, right? But I feel like that's something that matters a lot to you. It's kind of giving me Virgo vibes, or earth energy vibes in general, where you want things to be done right and you're not going to do it halfway. And I also feel like for you, you're very much a perfectionist, and it's not that hard for you to get things right. Like, you're not having to like rack your brains, be like, okay, how do I do this? Something that may be really difficult for someone else might come really easily for you, because you have a very fast moving mind, and you also have a real attention to detail. So I feel like you could apply this towards a bunch of different fields, whether you worked as like a doctor, you know, you would be one of those doctors. I'm seeing like a plastic surgeon who, like, you know how sometimes someone will get a nose job and it doesn't quite fit their face, or it doesn't fit their ethnicity, or it doesn't fit their features somehow, and it just looks weird. It just looks kind of strange on them. And then you see certain, you know, plastic surgeons, I know this is weird, but that will do like, you know, a nose job or whatever, and it just fits the person perfectly. And you're like, wow, that's, oh my God, it looks like them, but it just looks a little bit different, or it looks a little smaller, or whatever. And you're like, wow, they did a great job, because it still looks exactly like them, and it's like their nose, and it just looks like you like click the minimize tool on like The Sims or something, you know? And that takes such a high level of skill. And I feel like you would be that person that no matter what you did, any field you were in, I actually feel like you would excel in something like surgery, because it requires precision. And actually, Virgos are the surgeons of the zodiac. So yeah, definitely that Virgo energy, that's why Virgo is so great in those fields. They're really fantastic about attention to detail. They will notice if you're wearing like different colored socks, you know, they might not mention it to you, but they'll notice it. And that's why they make excellent editors and writers, and why Mercury is exalted in Virgo, the only the only planetary placement exalted in its domicile, in its home sign, is Mercury in Virgo. So there's something for that, that like when Virgo or Capricorn as well, I could see when they do something, they don't do it halfway. And sometimes that can irritate someone who's doing it really sloppily, or who's like, well, it was fine before. Well, we've always done it that way. Oh my God, like who cares? Just do it like this. So I feel like whatever field you're in, pile 3, this is going to be a huge advantage. And it's going to really make you stand out from the pack. Sometimes in a negative way, you might be like, okay, everyone's mad at me. Like I'm just trying to do a good job on this project. Like what the heck? But I don't feel like everyone has your capability or the ability that you have to kind of put your nose to the grindstone and work hard at something. And I think that's a huge advantage you have in the workplace. Like whatever you do, you make sure you do it excellently. Or like I'm thinking of those times that like someone's opened an Airbnb or something, and you know, it's just like kind of janky, and it's like they bought everything cheaply on one trip to IKEA, and they forgot to buy like kitchen pans, and they forgot to put a like light bulb in the shower, you know, the shower overhead light. And so it's kind of pretty dark in there. And then they forgot to get towels, and, you know, those small little details, or, you know, tiny details that even smaller than that, and then someone that just does it like perfectly, and everything has its place, and it's just incredible. And you know, no one has to like worry about showering in the dark or the hot water not being fully there. It's that person who really goes above and beyond. So whatever field you're in, pile 3, I feel like you will be applying your ability to get those details right in whatever this is. And again, it's a huge advantage and a huge strength. Let's get more cards for pile number 3. Horseman, Herald of Change, Sky, writing the fates. Some of you guys might literally be really good at writing, because again, we've been talking about Virgo. Virgo is where Mercury is exalted. Mercury is all about communication. Virgos make excellent writers. I always get annoyed with anytime you look up a famous author's placements, they always have Virgo. I'm like, you Virgos, at it again with your freaking writing gifts and abilities. So frustrating. Like, why is it like Virgo domination of writing? Okay, like I feel like we need like an antitrust group to come in and break up this little like chokehold Virgos have on the publishing industry. But at the same time, you got to give it to them. I mean, they really, so many Virgos are so gifted at writing, and great editors and whatnot. And by the way, you don't have to have Virgo placements or any kind of, you know, there's so many different ways to skin a cat, and there's not just one. So don't like, if you don't have any of those placements, don't be like, oh, so I'm not good at this. First of all, birth charts are complex, so it might not occur to you like that you have Virgo placements, and it, you know, someone else might look at it and be like, oh, you have this aspect, and you have this house rulership, and whatever. So again, don't be dissuaded, but what's coming to my mind for a lot of you guys is that you have some natural gifts at writing, and you might be that person who, like I said, would notice a grammatical error, or would make the plot really amazingly detailed and accurate. So some of you guys might be good at that in general, or even like legal writing or technical writing. I feel like you guys would also be really good at, because you're coming at things with such a high level of intelligence. Some of you guys might also have a gift for dealing with like animals. I feel like with this Horseman, Herald of Change, some of you guys in this pile might make excellent horseback riders or something like that. You might be someone who could really work in a field like that, like working at a dude ranch, or you know, working at an animal refuge, something like that. You might just be good with animals in general. Let's get into some more cards. And hunting might be good for some of you guys, or might be a talent for some of you guys. I know that's like controversial, but just what's coming to my mind with that is the way with hunting, you have to put your mind on something and then slowly track it. And I feel like you're fantastic at that. And look, we have another animal coming in. So yeah, a lot of you guys in this pile might be animal lovers. If you are, don't be mad at me for saying the hunting thing. I'm just channeling. But I feel like you have a real connection to nature in this pile. Some of you guys in this pile might be really good at like camping and outdoorsy stuff in general. You might be someone who would do really well if you had to like pitch a tent in the middle of the desert or in the middle of the woods or whatever, and you just know how to handle yourselves. I feel like pile 3, you would be an excellent person to be like stuck on a desert island with. Like in general, you just seem like someone who would figure it out really easily and be like, oh, we can make a little bowl from the palm fronds, and I braided some leaves of grass into a rope, and so we can, you know, climb the tree with the rope or something. I don't know, but I feel like you guys, you know, you're just smart in general. You just have a lot of gifts in general. Let's get into some of these cards as well. So what gifts and talents does pile 3 have, Spirit? Okay, we got all tied up. I do feel like some of you guys in this pile, like there's something very attractive about you and people may be really drawn to you. You might have a natural seductive quality about you or something that just draws you in with others. I feel like you're so good at psychology. I could even see this pile, some of you guys being great at like therapy or talking people through their problems or just getting in people's head, because I feel like you're fantastic psychologists. I feel like you guys are great at understanding people's motives, understanding where people are coming from, and kind of not saying that you would like manipulate them or anything like that, but just knowing how to say something or how to approach something or what makes someone tick, what gets under someone's skin, what makes someone excited for something. Like I feel like overall you're just really excellent at understanding the human psyche. You might even have Psyche, the asteroid, aspected really prominently in your chart. And patience. I was talking about that earlier, that I don't feel like you're the type to easily give up. I also feel like, again, you're super loyal. Like you are ride or die for the people that you actually care about. You would do anything for them. Let's get into, oh, we had one more. Oh my God, strategy. And that's literally what I've been saying this whole time. You guys are excellent strategists. And I feel like you could apply this in a million different fields. You know, if you were having to be a consultant or start a business plan for a company or be a therapist and give someone life advice on how to handle their emotions. Either way, I think you're really good at kind of panning out and taking a bird's eye view of different situations. Like you don't seem like someone who lets yourself get as emotionally overwrought or super upset about situations. You don't seem to me like someone who would like have a meltdown and just be like, screw it, I'm leaving, and you know, sabotage your career because you were in a bad mood that day or something. You seem like someone who really keeps a really cool head on your shoulders and doesn't allow yourself to kind of get swept away with like a wave of emotion. I feel like a lot of you guys are someone people could rely on. They could turn to you when the going gets tough. And you're always going to be thinking really smartly about different situations. You're not going to, you know, just fumble the bag because you're having a bad day. Let's get into some astrology dice. So, oh my gosh, we have a lot. We have Earth leading the way. Then we have the 5th house. And then we have Jupiter, Sagittarius. So we have Sagittarius, Leo, and Taurus. So Taurus, I'm definitely picking up on this Earth energy that a lot of you guys exude. Taurus energy is very much slow and steady. The master builder, Taurus rules the 2nd house of wealth and abundance, and earned wealth that we earn ourselves. So Tauruses are often masters of money. They're really good at dealing with money. They know how to like invest. They know how to deal with stocks, and they're also very careful and considerate. Like they're not going to be someone who, well, I mean, Tauruses can be a little indulgent, so scratch that. But generally speaking, when it comes to money, they're fantastic at knowing how to manifest more of it. They're fantastic at knowing how to handle it, and they can make very wise decisions about what they want to do with their money. With the 5th house, the 5th house is a creative house. I do feel like you guys have this very strong creative side, and a lot of you guys, if you were going to write or do something like that, again, you're really good at creating the details. You're really good at fleshing out all the additional details. 5th house is a house of creativity. It's a house of performing for others. It's also a house of children. You might be really good at dealing with children. and it's attention, and it's also a very charming energy. Leos can be really charming. They can have people just be super drawn to them. So again, I feel like a lot of you guys in this pile, you have a natural charm about you. You have something about you that's kind of effortlessly um, drawing people in and getting people's attention without even having to really try hard to do it. It's just something that just happens for you, you know? Then we have Jupiter. Jupiter is all about indulgence and abundance. Jupiter is the ruler of Sagittarius, the ninth house of travel. And one thing about Jupiter is it's a super intelligent sign. Um, it has a lot of knowledge, and it's always willing to be open and explore different things. So again, I feel like you have a boldness, kind of an assertiveness about you. Like you're not easily scared, you're not easily dissuaded. Like a Sagittarius could be completely across the world in a country where they don't speak the language, but Aquarius is going to be or excuse me, why am I saying Aquarius? Sagittarius is going to be chilling. Sagittarius is going to be completely in their element, even if everyone else is like, oh my god, this is weird, this place smells weird, I've never had this food before, what language is that? You know, other people might be thrown for a loop by being in a different place, and Sagittarius loves that feeling. They're going to feel super at home, they're going to be super open to it. So yeah, I feel like you're a very kind of strong-minded sign, pile 4, and a lot of you guys, you know, you have a lot of power about you that I think is very impactful, and people may react to that positively or negatively depending on their own emotions. But you're very forceful, strong energy, and it's kind of like, what is that phrase? I'm not everyone's cup of tea, but I'm some people's shot of whiskey or something. That's coming to my mind. I feel like that can be your motto, pile 3, because not everyone may, you know, think of you as this little sweet little angel, but the people who like you really, really like you. So I hope that resonated, guys. If it did resonate with you, I have some more videos on this channel all about your gifts and talents, and also on my Patreon as well. I have about 65 additional readings over on Patreon, and I just posted one all about what you're destined to have in this lifetime. And before that, I posted one all about an early love, early relationship reading. So it's perfect for someone you just started dating and you want to know how they're feeling towards you. But as soon as you sign up, you'll get access to all my additional readings over there, and new readings go up all the time. You guys suggest new readings and then we vote on them. So it's very interactive. And like I said, you'll get access to about 65 additional readings as soon as you sign up. So I would absolutely love to have you join us over there on Patreon. And if you want to sign up, head to the link underneath the timestamps in the comments in the description. And I would absolutely love to have you there. Also, if you want to get a private one-on-one reading with me, you can also get that at my website, briarrosetarot.com, and you can sign up for a half hour or a full hour-long session with me, have me pull tarot for you, read your astrology, channel for you, and yeah, lots of stuff over there. You can ask me basically whatever question you want within reason. So if you want to get a reading with me, head to the link in my description for briarrosetarot.com, and I would love to connect with you. So thank you guys so much for watching. I am sending you so much love and light, and I'll be back again very soon with another reading. Take care, guys, and I'll see you then. Bye. Hey, pile 4, welcome to your reading. So for your tarot, you guys got the 9 of Pentacles, the Moon, the Death card, and the Page of Swords. So right off the bat, we have two really psychic energies leading off this reading, the Moon card as well as the Death card. So the Moon is ruled by Pisces, and it also relates to Cancer, aka the Moon. And then we also have the Death card ruled by Scorpio. So I think it's safe to say a lot of you guys in this pile are probably highly psychic. You probably get downloads from others and very much feel the energy and the feelings, the vibes from everyone around you. So some of you guys may be empaths in this pile, and for positive or negative, you may be very influenced by what other people are feeling. So if you're in a good mood and you walk into a room and someone's feeling bad, you might suddenly start feeling bad, and vice versa. So some of you guys actually have psychic gifts. You could even work in a field doing some psychic gifts, psychic visions, and I actually think that there are lots of fields that actually can really benefit from psychic abilities, such as being a therapist, where you're able to intuit how someone's feeling even if they can't voice it that well, or doing things like advertising or even designing products, because you're having to kind of tune into the energy of spirit and kind of figuring out what people would want or what people are going to respond to. But a lot of you guys have very strong psychic abilities. So you might be really good at reading tarot or doing astrology or just doing straight up psychic readings for your friends. You might sometimes make randomly prophetic, statements where you're saying like, "Oh, I get a bad feeling about that actor. He seems kind of like sketchy to me. I don't know." And all your friends are like, "What? He's awesome. Everyone loves him. What are you talking about? You're crazy." And then it comes out a few months later that he has some horrible scandal and he's like a bad person. Or vice versa. You really love someone. Everyone's like, "Oh, that person's horrible." And then, a few months later, public opinion shifts and everyone's like, "Oh my God, that person seems so awesome. Why did we judge them?" And that kind of discourse happens, and you're the first to know because you're a good reader of people. You might be that person who can size up someone within meeting them right away, within a very small amount of time from when you first met them, and just get a vibe. And you might be great at understanding conversations. It's almost like that phrase, say less. That's what I'm hearing in my mind, because I feel like some of you guys, you might even finish people's sentences, or people might sometimes get mad at you for interrupting them. But what's really going on is you're like figuring out what they're going to say next. Like you already know that they're going to say blah, blah, blah. And so you're like, do I wait for them to finish it? Screw it, I'm interrupting them. And I'll be like, right, I totally know what you're saying. So you're just going to cut them off. You know what I mean? You're just going to like jump in. And so sometimes people might get mad at you for that. But I do feel like you guys are very psychic and you have psychic gifts, psychic abilities in some way. With the Nine of Pentacles, a lot of you guys might have an amazing aesthetic. You might have a talent for fashion or aesthetics in general. You might be someone who would make an excellent clothing designer, fashion designer, or running some kind of aesthetic like Instagram or TikTok or whatever, vision board or even a Pinterest, because I feel like a lot of you guys have a really cool sense of style and a lot of you guys have an eye for that. So even if you're doing something like just making food and you're being a cook, you might be that person that just knows exactly where to put that sprig of parsley on the plate so it looks completed. Or how sometimes like in food cooking shows, competition shows, they will judge them on presentation as well, and the person who just dumps everything on one plate and just it's whatever, they get a really low score. And then that person that smears on the mashed potatoes in this artful little scoop of like this little architectural looking design, and then they have the steak next to it piled on top of a little thing of tomatoes, and it's all very like pretty. I know that sounds pretty horrible looking, but anyway, imagine it actually looks really good, like it's kind of like ratatouille. The actual ratatouille dish is like super simple peasant food. And it's funny, I was talking to someone a while ago and they were telling me, they were like, "Oh, I made all the ingredients for ratatouille and it was, yeah, I made this really complicated dish." And I'm like, "Oh, sir, so you made," yeah, I'm like, "So you made you made zucchini and tomatoes and onions? Not super complicated." I meant not to be a total hater, but I'm like, that is not a complicated dish, sir. So unless you made it look exactly like that movie, I do not need to hear about being impressed at making ratatouille. I'm sorry. I am a judger and a hater when it comes to cooking because I like to cook. So whenever someone's like, "I'm so excited I made avocado toast," I will be a hater because I'm just like, that's so easy. Like, come on now. What is this trend of people bragging about making something so simple like peanut butter and jelly? Like, come on, you know what I mean? It would be like me bragging about math and doing like 2 + 2 = 4. Like, have some awareness. So anyway, not to be a hater, but the reason why that movie and the dish in it is so iconic is literally because of the way they designed the ratatouille. Because ratatouille itself is like peasant food. It's so easy. It's throw it in the oven level easy. It's like no effort. And they made it look incredible and so architectural in that movie. Though it literally looks like high art. And that is a talent, like being able to take something that's just whatever, middle of the road, not that cute, not that appetizing. Ratatouille is kind of like that. It's like a bunch of, it kind of gets all stewed up and it's not a super pretty food. It's not like supposed to be. It's just, it tastes really good. But anyway, they made it look absolutely scrumptious and good for them. And I feel like you guys have that vision. Like you're able to take something and, sometimes like I'm hating on avocado toast, but sometimes someone will post And I like avocado toast, by the way. I'm just saying it's really easy to make, you know? And sometimes, though, someone will have an aesthetic Instagram account and they'll post like avocado toast with like a beautiful edible flower on it and like a carrot cut out in the shape of a flower and all this crazy stuff. And I'm like, yeah, that is beautiful. So if someone was bragging to me about making that kind of avocado toast, I wouldn't be a hater. But I'm just saying, you guys know what I'm talking about, right? Like when someone's like, oh, I made this, and you're like, bro, that is like level one. That's not, don't tell me you made the most complicated dish of all time when it's ratatouille. Like, please. It is French. I get it sounds complicated, but it's not. Anyway, I feel like you guys have that vision, you have that aesthetic, you have that ability to make an outfit and elevate it. And that's really what it is with anything. Like someone could pick one pair of jeans and it looks bad on them, and then someone else knows how to dress that and style it and add the right finishing touches. And I feel like you guys have that vision. I feel like a lot of you guys have that taste to take something and elevate it and make it better and make it look beautiful and make people be impressed by it and awed by it. So no matter what you're doing, whether you're just being a cake baker in a bakery, you would design it so it looked gorgeous. Or if you're gonna renovate your house, you're not gonna make it just look standard, run of the mill. You know, I hate that minimalism trend right now. Ugh. So glad that trend is ending. So you might not be a super trend oriented person. You might be someone who really has your own sense of personal style and has a beautiful vision and knows how to make something gorgeous. Either way, I feel like, again, it's all about your aesthetic vibe, pile 4, and your ability to take things and make them look freaking amazing. Then we also have the Page of Swords. Page of Swords is an incredible communicator. So you guys might be really great communicators. Page of Swords rules over all types of communication, be it writing, radio, like speaking on YouTube, anything that involves speaking, communication, even like acting, that kind of a thing is also ruled by the Page of Swords. So you guys might have talents and gifts for something like that. And I do feel like a lot of you guys have charisma and an ability for knowledge. So I'm seeing in my mind some of those long-term, what am I even saying? Long form YouTube videos where they're making like educational things about like telling someone about some current event or like a historical event or like, you know, true crime or whatever. You know how you can just put those on and then sit back and chill for 40 minutes while you're cooking or whatever. I don't know why there's so much cooking energy coming through. Maybe some of y'all are really good cooks, in which case you probably agree with me on my little rant. And maybe that's why I felt comfortable making it to you guys. But yeah, it's one of those, I'm seeing those long form videos where someone is like sharing their knowledge for like an hour and they're just talking about stuff, and technically they could be really boring, right? Like sometimes I've clicked on, you know, a YouTube video or a podcast and someone just doesn't have that ability to talk. So even though they're talking about something super interesting, like some major historical event, you're like, yeah, this is so boring. And then there could be someone else who, you know, isn't even talking about something that crazy, but the way they have of speaking, it really holds your attention. Some of you guys I'm hearing are also gifted video editors, so you might be great at that aspect of YouTube because a lot of those videos and stuff, they require a lot of editing. That's actually how they make them so entertaining, is like they'll do the little cuts to, you know, a random movie clip, or like they'll do a little meme halfway through to keep your interest, you know? So yeah, I feel like you guys might be really good at technical stuff like editing. What are pile number 4's gifts and talents? 4 of Swords, okay, 7 of Pentacles. What are pile 4's gifts and talents? The Hanged Man. Ooh, so much water energy coming through. Now we have Pisces. So we got all the water signs represented from the major arcana. Well, I guess we have double Pisces, and then we have Scorpio, but I definitely also consider the Hanged Man the moon to be Cancer, since the moon rolls over Cancer. But yeah, strong psychic abilities. And the Hanged Man is also really great at pivoting and kind of like changing their mind. You guys might have the ability to have multiple career paths, or you might have a lot of different interests where someone else only has one and is very kind of stuck and stagnant to like this one kind of career path that they want for themselves, and, you know, being very like tied to that has to work out. And you might be that kind of person that's always reinventing themselves and feels totally fine being a fish out of of water and feels totally fine if you're like completely doing a 180 and changing your career entirely, whereas that really might freak someone else out. You might be really good at that. And I also feel like one thing Pisces has in common, and also with this Temperance card energy coming through, there's a very calming presence about you guys. There's something that's very like chill. Also, this Four of Swords, where you guys might put other people at ease naturally. Like, I feel like you have something about your energy that's kind of like quiet and calm and peaceful, and people don't feel the need to like be as desperate to prove themselves, or as loud or as boisterous with you. They might feel like they can really sit back, relax, and trust you. And especially with all this water, you guys might have people who kind of come in and trauma dump or tell you all their information. And I am hearing it's because they feel so safe around you. They feel like they can trust you and open up to you in a way they might not with others. So you also might be good at helping people deal with and work through their traumas as a result of that. Let's get into some of these cards. So what are pile number 4's gifts and talents, Spirit? What are pile number 4's gifts and talents? Me talks. Repairing the body, mind, and spirit. I do feel like because you guys absorb so much energy from others, you definitely need a little bit of time to yourself. Too many of these came out at the same time. You definitely need a little bit more time to kind of relax and purge yourself of those energies, because it's almost like it can get overwhelming for you when you just absorb and take on other people's feelings all the time. So I actually feel like a lot of you guys in this pile, you kind of need time alone to relax and recharge and to kind of free yourself from that. And that might be when you go into this kind of Nine of Pentacles aesthetic mode. Like maybe it makes you really feel good at the end of the day to paint or to redecorate your living room. Some of you guys would make really gifted painters. You have a gift or a talent for that. And some of you guys, I also feel like there's something about your aesthetic or your vibe that is just very attractive. Like, and not even just in a romantic level, but I feel like even friends find you very attractive and find your energy very beguiling and kind of intriguing. And there's something kind of secretive about you and unknowable. That's a water energy as well, because of course you can't see through water the way you can with a lot of the other elements. There's things hidden in water that are kind of hard to hide with the other elements. And so there's a lot of unknowing qualities to water. There's a lot of like this secret interior life. And I feel like that kind of comes out with you guys. Like people can tell that you play some things close to the vest, or that a lot of you guys might read a lot, or you kind of have an active fantasy world or something like that. But I feel like a lot of people are very curious about you, and that gives you this kind of charisma that makes people just want to know more on a very deep level. It makes them super curious, and it makes them, kind of want to like explore your world a little bit. So people might feel really drawn to you, and you might have that charisma where you might find people kind of fall in love with you or kind of get super attached to you, that people may like really want to become your friends, even though they don't know you that well, or you just met them, or you don't feel that reciprocal connection. I feel like in a weird way, people kind of look up to you, pile number 4, and they see you as a little bit of a leader, even when you don't want that position or you don't see yourself that way. They kind of defer to you. And a lot of people actually think you have a really cool aesthetic. I feel like a lot of you guys, I've been mentioning this. I mean, your aesthetic is coming through as really strong, but again, they really look up to you in a way. They see it as not just like, oh, she dresses well, that's cool, but like, wow, she dresses really well. She's so cool. I wish I could be like that. Like, these are people who really, really, really admire you. Let's get into some of these cards for pile number 4. What are their secret gifts and talents? So we got caring connections. Again, you guys are amazing at dealing with people. I could see some of you guys being great therapists. We got anxiety, caring connections, and journey. I could see a lot of you guys being great therapists or talking people through their problems because you have this natural empathy. A lot of you guys are people who would excel in any kind of field where you have to do a little bit of caretaking, or where you have to talk people through their problems, or where you have to offer them some compassion and help them get through their day. You really are that person who truly would, be able to empathize and speak to them, even if they were in the most crazy situation and you could never actually relate to it and you'd never been through something like that yourself, you would still find a way to try to relate, to try to understand them, and to try to truly offer them compassion from a very deep place, not just like, sure, yeah, I care. Anyway, it's time for you to leave the office, but genuinely connect with them and genuinely offer them some compassion. And in that way, I feel like a lot of you guys make a real mark on people. Like people leave their interactions with you and they feel a lot better. I think you do a lot of work for taking on others' emotions. Some of you guys might even need to sometimes learn to put up boundaries with this, but I truly feel like you have left an effect on so many people, and people leave their times and their interactions with you feeling happier, feeling like the world is a better place, feeling like, okay, someone understands me and I'm not this, crazy person that I may have felt like a moment ago. So if you could find a way to work that into your career somehow, even if you guys were dealing with like high end, really difficult clients, I feel like you would be fantastic at that. Whereas someone else might run out of patience and be like, screw this, I am not dealing with these people anymore. They're too demanding. You would be that person who's like, whatever, I'll just be chill. I'll just be nice to them. I don't care. They're difficult, but I'm going to offer them grace. So, a lot of your compassion and your empathy is coming through as a real gift of yours. And I do feel like you fit in, speaking of high end clients, you do fit in these kind of bougie or higher end situations. So, maybe with, like I said, a demanding client or someone who is really asking a lot from you, or someone who, like, is in an opulent kind of a space, maybe a higher end party in New York. You might, even though you just got off the plane from like Kentucky, you fit in perfectly and you have this cool aesthetic. So even if, you feel a little out of your depth, people are like, wow, she's really cool. I bet she lives in Brooklyn. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like there's something about you that just seems to fit in a lot of those places. And people just might mistakenly always think that you're really high end or that you have a really nice, expensive outfit, even if you just bought it from Shein, whatever the name is. And so, yeah, I feel like a lot of people really like how you dress, how you carry yourself, and you have that natural grace and decorum. I'm feeling like actually some of you guys in this pile might even be gifted at something like gymnastics or even like beauty pageants, anything that requires grace and walking around, because I feel like the way you move is really beautiful and graceful, and just the way you carry yourself really sticks out from the crowd. It's this natural kind of decorum, I want to say. So yes, I would consider those things a talent. Let's get into some astrology dice for pile number 4. So, oh my gosh, what a total non-surprise. We got Venus, Sagittarius, and Virgo. I can totally see the super strong Venus energy with you guys. So Venus does rule over aesthetic things, literally beauty. And Venus is also all about luxury, nice things, and that kind of grace and gentleness, diplomacy that Venus has as well. So they're great at talking to lots of different people. They're great at like moderating situations. Venus rules over Libra and Taurus, so this could be either. So Libra is literally the diplomat of the zodiac and great at helping people work through different problems or disagreements. Really great at, getting people to come to like a peaceful resolution when they're fighting, and really great at putting everyone at ease and really making everyone feel recognized and understood. And then Taurus is all about indulgence, delicious food. So as I was mentioning, you guys might be amazing cooks. Delicious food and all beautiful things, beautiful clothes, beautiful gowns, beautiful surroundings, beautiful everything. Taurus just loves things that are well done, well made, well crafted, and things that make you feel that little Venus kind of pampered energy. So I actually feel like some of you guys might even have a gift in like the self-care pampering range. Like maybe you guys might be really good at coming up with like, I don't know, like some really delicious bath salts or some amazing, I don't know, body lotion or something, you know what I mean? Or something like that, or even beauty work, like, designing someone's nails, painting nails, or doing hair or anything like that. Like any kind of beauty realm, I feel like you guys would be really, really excellent in. Even like designing makeup or tattoos or anything that someone might adorn themselves with, clothes, I feel like you guys would be great at. With the sixth house, that is ruled by Virgo. Virgo is all about attention to detail. Virgo is all about really getting things right, doing things precisely well, and keeping things very clean and pure. Very pure go, pure go. I guess we could call Virgo that, pure go. That's kind of hilarious. Virgo does love purity, and it's literally the virgin. So Virgo loves things to be kind of untainted, done well, done right. And I definitely feel like you guys give off that vibe as well. Virgo is also like doctor energy, surgeon energy. And again, I could see some of you guys having a real gift or a talent for talking people through their problems, for helping people with their problems, for just knowing what their problems are and coming in to like address it. Another thing about Virgo is it is, see, I was just going to say something and it literally lost my mind. It just slipped out of my mind. But anyway, Virgo is really that person that you want. If you're having a problem, Virgo will come in and be able to figure it out and be able to figure out how to fix it. In fact, they won't even have to figure it out. Virgos are so like critical, they'll probably notice it within like 3 minutes of you talking. They'll be like, they, you know what, they have a slight speech impediment and they need to fix that. You know what I mean? Virgos are just really, really good at that. So yeah, I feel like a lot of you guys are great at helping people through difficult situations. Virgo is also the health house. Some of you guys might be really good at helping people in health as well, like helping people with their fitness or their aesthetic or making themselves look really beautiful, because at the end of the day, that definitely relates highly to health. And with Sagittarius as well, Sagittarius is always loving to learn spiritual knowledge. It's ruled by Jupiter. So I feel like a lot of you guys have those psychic downloads and intuitions. And Sagittarius is also always trying new things, learning new things, going new places, loves to explore the world. So I feel like you have that kind of charismatic vibe where you can fit in with all different kinds of people, all different kinds of situations. So yeah, I think that's what I have for you guys. Pile 4, if you want to see more of my readings about gifts and talents, then there's some more videos on this YouTube channel, as well as over on my Patreon, where we talk about what you're gifted at or your career. And if you want to see that, head to the link underneath the timestamps in the comments in the description. I just posted a reading over there all about what you're destined to have in this lifetime. And before that, all about an early love, early relationship reading. So for someone you just started dating, and if you want to know their feelings, we go into that. But there are over or around about 65 additional readings over on Patreon, and you guys suggest and vote on new readings. So there's a lot of content to go through over there on Patreon. And if you want to join me over there, I would absolutely love to have you. You can head to the link underneath the timestamps in the comments and the description if you want to join me over on Patreon. Also, if you want to get a private one-on-one reading with me, you can also get that at my website, briarrosetarot.com. And you can sign up for a half hour or a full hour-long session with me, have me pull tarot for you, read your astrology, channel for you, and you can ask me basically whatever you want within reason, but absolutely most things are totally allowed. So if you want a reading with me, go to my website, briarrosetarot.com, and link is in my description for that. Thank you guys so much for watching. I am sending you so much love and light, and I'll be back again very soon with another reading. Take care, guys, and I'll see you then. Bye.